welcome to another session with the Frag Illuminati. This is your man G-Man starting off. We got Be Easy, Eggos, and whoever he is this week, and we got Rock. So, hey, fellas, Be Easy, say what's up to the group.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today, man?
What up, though?
Rock. I'm going to get Rock rocking it. Mr. Eggos.
Eggos. What's going on, Eggos?
You know, the good kind.
Is it blueberry water?
Oh, that's messed up, man. Why you
I was like, no, you couldn't mess with Bernie now.
blueberry?
Okay.
No, we playing James Eggos over here.
Today we're talking about fragrances, the reputation that they have, and the reputation that you believe that they should be. Are they hyped, overhyped? Are they actually do what they're supposed to do? We've got different levels of fragrances. We got different brands of fragrances. I'm gonna start off talking about a couple of out of my houses that I favor and what you can expect from that brand as an overall. Not talking about each specific one, but I think in general. I've got two fragrances that has been requested by one of the members as one of their favorite fragrances.
Oh, damn. The Silver Mountain.
The water.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, these are Creed products. A lot of times people who will buy Creed, and not talking about you, Eric, they'll think it's overrated. It's a luxury fragrance, and they make real good fragrances, in my opinion. They have a good selection of fragrances, and a lot of them I like, and they're unique, and they're well blended, and they are luxury. They are costly, but I think a lot of times people get Creed confused with being those that underperform. I'll say the purpose of Creed, and I've been wearing Creeds for years, they're not a fragrance to where when you walk into a room that everybody's going to notice that you're in the room. They're not for boldness. They primarily lay close to the skin. They're kind of like really a luxury fragrance. They lay close to the skin. You project out about 2 to 3. Your fragrance bubble around you is about 2 to 3 feet away. And at some point in time, within an hour or two, you go nose blind to it. A lot of times what people believe is that the fragrance did not last more than 2 hours. They can't smell it. But 3 hours down the road, somebody may walk past them and give them a compliment and leave them standing there thinking, how can they smell this? I can't smell it. Mm-hmm. So I've experienced that myself with Creed products. This one is a different line of Creed. It's also a Creed too. And the fragrance mixture on that was a little different because it's a different type of line, but it's primarily one and the same with the others. They're made to lay low and close to the skin. They're not, if you're looking for a fragrance that you're going to walk into the room, and these guys have got some fragrances they're going to talk about from brands that you put 1 or 2 sprays on and you can, it's a wrap. You go 6, 8 hours. And when you walk in the door, if you put 3 sprays in, they're going to smell you when you get out of the car 2 blocks away. So they're designed for that. Creed is not designed for that. And I think a lot of times people get that mixed up, that it's underperforming because they want a bold scent and they've spent all this money on that product and they don't get what they expect out of it when it's designed to do exactly what it does. Joe Malone is another house. What I can say with them, if whatever it says in the description, if it says this one is fig and lotus flower, I can guarantee you this is going to smell 100% like a fig and lotus flower. 100%. Might smell better than the real thing. The only drawback with these is that they're made to layer. You don't get longevity out of these unless you buy the body oils, the creams that goes along with it's made by Joe Malone. Other than that, you're not going to get but a couple hours out of them at best. They're going to go faint. Floris London. This is an old fragrance house that's been around for years. It didn't get talked about very much in the community, but it's one that's a surprise. This is an EDT. This ADT is stronger than some parfums that they make out of other brands. And it's a long-lasting fragrance. So I've got the soaps for these. I've got the lotions, the creams. I've got all. This is a good everyday scent. You can find it reasonably on in the what's the company's called? What
the discount sites and stuff.
Yeah, you can find them less than $100. This one is a 3.300 mil. It ran me, I think, maybe $100, maybe. But this is a good everyday. It's safe. It's not loud. It's not going to broadcast. You can wear this anywhere, any season, and it's real effective. Now, with these creeds, even though they're luxury brands, the presentation is in the bottles. It's not in the cases that it comes with, because it comes with a regular paper box. That's all you're going to get. Beautiful bottles, but that's all you're going to get out of it. House of Silliage is another one. This is kind of like a misnomer. When you think about Silliage is essentially the scent you're going to smell after the person's walked by. The fragrance is supposed to linger. That's what Silliage means. This one doesn't do that. This one lays close to the skin. It's a good everyday scent. Beautiful scents, but they're not going to fill up a room. You can spray it 6 or 8 times. It's not going to fill up a room. It's not designed to do that. So you have to know what a particular fragrance company does so that you won't be disappointed when you go above a level you're accustomed to spending to buy it, only to find out that it didn't do what you think it was supposed to do because it was not designed that way. The next house that I favor is a luxury brand, and it's Clive Christian. With these, you can see the presentation. This is not the box that it came in, so disregard this. But with this one, the presentation is 100% money. It shows it, the weight of the bottle, the concentration of the juice. These are EDPs. They're running about 32 to 35% concentrate. You spray these, maybe 2, maybe 3 sprays. 3 sprays is pretty borderline of overdoing it. You can take a shower the next day and you'll still smell it. But the difference is when you walk in the room, it's not going to broadcast. It's a strong fragrance, but it's not overbearing. There's a difference between strong and overbearing.
It's 9 o'clock.
So this is a good one. It's a luxury fragrance. It's costly, just like some of the others, but you get the full presentation that shows what you're paying for. Okay. Eggos, what you got over there?
Yo. Oh, I only got 3 houses. Now I'm gonna let you know. All these houses are properly rated to me, but to some, I don't know. I think I'm gonna start off with Electimuss. Electimuss, you can expect some good juice. There are some that are better than others, in my opinion. Well, that's with every house, of course, but there are some that I should say more safe on the blind buy than others, because you kind of have to know what you're messing with that. Presentation is decent. I don't have a box with me, but presentation is decent on these. These are some pretty decent presentations. Nothing overly amazing, but they're good for what they are. What you get out of this? You get some quality. It's gonna last on you. I don't think with any of them have I found them to really just fill up a room that way. But you will get noticed with it. It's just not going to be anything that's just all in your face like that. Those are cool. Next one I got, you're going to pay some money for. Boadicia. You're going to get a great bottle. Like, I love these bottles. They got the medallion on the back. I'm guessing that's the back. The medallion on the front. Nice caps. Nothing heavy, but they're solid for what they are, I guess. They're always going to get some quality juice in it. Every time. You're going to pay some money for it. Presentation on these, kind of lackluster for what you're paying, but it is what it is. Next one I got, you know, my used to be favorite house, Roja. Some of the greatest bottles I love. They got the you know what? And I might lie here, but I think a lot of people don't know that the reason you're paying so much for these bottles is because of that cap.
Yeah.
Swarovski crystal caps. I mean, you know, some people don't know. I know Oceania, fire. There's one in this house that I know for sure that I think people would find to be overrated, and that would be Elysium Parfum Cologne. That's what it is, right, Rob? Parfum Cologne?
Yeah. I mean, I actually like the Parfum, or the EDP.
Well,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and they're great. Like, it smells great, but the complaint I've heard from a lot of people is that it doesn't last at all. I don't know what your experience has been with the what is that? The Elysian Parfum that you got from me, Leonard. Have you worn it yet?
I had not. When I first got it, I sprayed on my wrist, but I hadn't done a full wearing on it yet.
Okay. Because I was going to see what you, because I know for that one, I know I got a lot more time out of that one than I've heard about the Parfum Cologne.
Yeah, I haven't smelled the Parfum Cologne at all.
Me either. Now I'm going to be honest, for the price, for a lot of their bottles, such as some like Amber Oud, have you said, kind of lackluster for the price until you really get up into some crazy numbers. When you get up to like the thousands, then you start getting presentations like that with them. There we go. That's when you start spending a little bit of money with them. That's when they give you the good. It's still subjective. Never mind, because you can still pay $1,200 to $1,500 for a bottle, and they probably still wouldn't come in that. So sometimes you can get something like that. Other times you won't. It depends between the fragrance, but you'll always get something good. To me, a lot of them are good, but you have to be ready for them. They will get you noticed. They're big on civet. I know Roja, for whatever reason, loves civet, and they not with all the fragrances, but a lot of them they'll put that in there. I said they'll last. They good.
And Castoreum. They love those two notes.
The Castoreum.
Yep, and Castoreum. They love those two notes.
I've never even heard of that note. No, I don't be paying attention on notes, but yeah, you'll get what you get with it. It's
Now,
good either way it goes.
How many sprays do you normally have to run on those, man? And what's the scent bubble around on those?
It really depends on what it is. With something like Amber Oud, I can do about 4 sprays and be good, and probably have a decent sized bubble around me. Something like Oceania, I can probably have the same bubble, but this will not last as long as Amber Oud will, and it may not project as far.
So
but
they're made to lay close to skin too?
For the most part, like there's a few that'll jump out at you, but for the most part, I think kind of closer to the skin. Yeah, I think for the most part, you're getting really closer to the skin. Like nothing that you really have to put your nose up to, but it's not like it's somebody 17 feet away from you that's gonna notice you. Like they really got to kind of be closer to you. But yeah, that's my only houses at the moment. Since y'all took everything else.
Rock, got over there, man.
Okay, so I'm going to venture out into the house of Amouage, and I'm gonna speak loosely because I don't know this verbatim, but from what I heard with the house of Amouage is that they fashion their fragrances after the ancient royalty of Oman, I think. So these are Middle Eastern fragrances, and what the legend was, or what the thing is that whenever anyone, any dignitary or anyone that came to visit the palace, they were greeted with their own fragrance. They made the palace made a fragrance for them in their name, right? And so with that, Amouage is known for their incredible presentations. This one, Beach Hut, right? The presentation on this one, and they all come off like so, but they're not all consistent, right? So on this one, this particular line, this is how this particular presentation it is, but it's still an amazing presentation, right? But you can they have other fragrances that still, as you can look at that wood grain on there, but this one is a more of a coffette, but still you have an amazing presentation on the inside. Another distinct characteristic of Amouage fragrances, here's another one. Look at the outside of the fragrance.
Some
And
more
then
like artwork.
Yep, and this is the inside, and you actually see where they did a little write up here. Another characteristic of the Amouage fragrances is that they have a distinct use of incense and myrrh in most of their fragrances. Not all of them. I do know we got a resident fact checker, so I got to make sure that everything I say is dotted and the I is dotted and the T is
I was
crossed.
say because I'm definitely checking right now.
Right. So, um, but yeah, most of their fragrances, and this is the reason, the reason that a lot of people, Amouage is looked up on as a fragrance that is for acquired taste. You're not going to be a rookie nose and fall in love with Amouage fragrances. This one, for example, this one is Interlude Man, and it is strong with incense. And I think this one does have myrrh in it as well. So not all fragrances have both incense and myrrh, but most fragrances will either have incense or myrrh or both, and then you might run across a couple of them that don't have any. But one is just like Roja with a signature, with their signature. I actually wouldn't even say their signature, but a lot of their more complex fragrances does feature the note of civet. In Amouage, more of their complex fragrances will either uh, feature incense or myrrh. Right. One of their favorite fragrances doesn't have either, but it is the most mass appealing, I think, from the line, and this is Reflection Man. But again, all of their fragrances, I wouldn't call them room fillers, but they do last at least 6 to 8 hours, right? They project at least within 2 feet, within with the couple hours that you're wearing. Now this one has been dubbed the Blue Beast, right? Because of its longevity. You put this on, it's 9-10 hours right off the gate, right? Again, most of these fragrances are prestigious. They're not clubbing fragrances. This is one you want to wear in the boardroom. This is the one you want to wear when you're, in boss mode trying to make a statement, right? I'm trying to make a
it's
statement.
safe enough. That was safe enough to do that.
Meaning
You're saying it's bold, but it's not too overbearing. But then it's safe enough to wear in a suit and tie environment, boardroom,
oh
office.
yeah. So like if you and the thing is to be continents of your sprays, right? So you're not going to go in here with 4 or 5 sprays on. 1 or 2 will be suffice, right? But it's not going to be like, okay, if you just headed to work someplace like a hospital or something like that, no, you couldn't wear it like that. But if you're going to an event where like a conference or something like that, then yeah, you can wear 1 or 2 sprays of it and be okay, right? And so you can be 1 or 2 sprays of it to be okay. And I don't have a full bottle of it, but I do have a decant. They made a flanker to that fragrance, and it's called Interlude Black Iris, which they toned down the incense that was in here and replaced it with iris, right? And so
And the 2 Rock, what was that one you just put down? The one you were talking about?
This is Interlude Man,
Okay.
right? And this is Interlude Black Iris, right?
Okay.
And so yeah, they took a lot of the incense out in here and replaced it with iris in here, which made it more of a powdery scent. A lot of people prefer this one over that one. I'm not one of those people. I actually prefer the Blue Beast. With the powderiness in this one, in my opinion, it just kind of muddied up the fragrance, in my opinion. But a lot of people, most people, like that version better, right? Another house I want to talk about is Xeroff. And this is another one of my fragrance house, and this one is known because of its unique it's unique attention to detail and also its presentations, right? So each line has a unique presentation and something that's special about their coffettes. Like in the this is not the Shooting Stars collection, but in the Shooting Stars collection, they have a little envelope there with a little insignia on the inside. So if you got something like Neo, you probably never even noticed it, Dre. If you go in that little envelope in the Neo thing, you go in there and there might be something inside there. All right.
Yeah. I'm about to say this, because you isn't the Shooting Stars that has the meteorite things, or
Yeah, that has that little piece of meteorite in there.
yeah.
Right. And so and like I said, each one has their own distinctive one. And this is Tony
Right.
Iommi. And you see how this one is in a black one, but and it symbolizes the guitar on the outside. Now with Xeroff fragrances, they have a reputation of being long lasting as well, right? And some of the best ambery fragrances on the market, right? Long lasting. This one is Richwood.
I'm about to say the Stone Label collection usually comes in a white box like that. It's like a alligator print.
They're long lasting. Some of the best ambery fragrances that you have on the market. Some of the best vanilla. They use the best lavender. Use the best lavender. I haven't smelled their rose fragrances, but from what I smelled, as far as their ambery fragrances, the sandalwood fragrances, they do some of the best job on them. right? I got a couple more, and this one is Unique A Luxury, right? And Unique A Luxury is also known for its presentation, but what it's also known for is the longevity of their fragrances. Leonard was talking about filling up a room earlier. These are fragrances that will fill up the room, and I wasn't even paying attention to my box. I don't even know if I opened this. I wonder what's inside there. But
That's another show, man. That's another show.
right,
We
yeah,
PG,
but
we PG in here, man. PG.
yeah, but this is Crush on Me. This is caramel and patchouli. It will last all day. It will fill up the room, and that's what most of Unique A luxury fragrances. They will make fragrances that will last all day, and they have authentic fragrances that are true to what they of what it is that they want you to smell like. So if you're looking for some a whiskey fragrance, their whiskey fragrance smells like pure whiskey. If you're looking for like that caramel fragrance smells like caramel, and you're going to smell like whiskey all day. You're going to smell like caramel all day, right? So it does live up to those reputations. And all of these fragrances that I put up brought up to you, they are not inexpensive, they are expensive. So the answer to the question, are they worth it, it just depends on what your market is for those particular ones. For the Amouage fragrance, they are not for rookie noses, they are not for young men. Most of those fragrances are going to be for, I would say, 35 and up, with the exception of this one. This is the one I would say that I could see a 25-year-old wearing it barely, right? But the rest of these, 35 and up, corporate suit and tie. You're not wearing those with t-shirt and jeans. And and I can consider Xeroff a more of a casual fragrance house. It just depends on which fragrance you pick up from there, and you can tell from that particular fragrance how you want to present it. But they're a little bit more versatile. Most of my Xeroff fragrances I can wear casual, I can wear dressed up, I can wear to the office. There's nothing pretty much off-putting about a Xeroff fragrance. Most Xeroff fragrances, as far as niches are concerned, are the most mass appealing niche brand that I've come across, right? Where the majority of their collection is basically mass appealing, right?
Well, they just don't try red hobo. That stuff's garbo.
Right. I haven't run across a Xeroff fragrance that I haven't liked.
I've run across one. Jesus Christ, and it was bad.
What was the name of that one?
Red hobo.
Red Hobo.
Woo.
Okay. And the last house I want to talk about is Argos. Argos, most of their fragrances is centered around Greek mythology and artwork. Right. This one here is Triumph of Bacchus, and as you can see, the presentation is about about Bacchus and all that. I don't know any of that, so I'm not gonna talk about it, but you can just see what the artwork is, things like that. And then when you bring out the fragrance, or you bring out the presentation, you do have another coffet, right, where the fragrance sits inside. And then if you want to learn about the story of our Triumph of Bacchus, it does tell you the story around here. Tell you the story out here, and then it gives you the notes on the opposite side, right? And as you can see, as I take this box out, most of Argos fragrances do come in these beautiful bottles like this. You can get them either in a 30 ml or 100 ml. This is a 30 ml bottle, 30 ml bottle, and there is very detailed in these in this artwork right here, and juices in every Argos fragrance is extrait to parfum. It will last all day on your skin. I wouldn't consider them to be room fillers, but they do project a mile away. I mean, arms width away where yeah,
How?
I gotta hurry up and correct it, right?
If it's a mile away, that's a room filler for real.
Right. But yeah, they will last all day on your skin. They will project within an arm's length, and they do smell phenomenal. One of the key things about Argos is their use of sandalwood in their fragrances, right? Most of their fragrances have this smooth sandalwood dry down, right? That allows you to just, you just feel buttery when you have their fragrances on. And this is another house where a lot of their fragrances are mass appealing. They do challenge you. They do change a little bit, but not much. A 30 ml bottle will run you about $140. A 100 millimeter bottle will run you about $225. So they're about the low mid when it comes to niche fragrances. But when I tell you that the juice is good, it's worth every penny. It's
I'm just surprised they don't make a 50 ml bottle though.
What? I didn't hear you.
So I'm surprised they don't make a 50 ml bottle.
I'm surprised they don't either. Because
That doesn't really make no sense.
I think it would be better than this 30 ml.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a little bigger and this, that, and the other. Because the 100 ml is huge. It's real heavy. So they put quality and
over quantity.
Quality in durability into these and a lot of thought behind these bottles. And so, but is the house worth it? Yeah, the house,
absolutely.
All of these houses that I brought up are definitely worth it. Now, as far as
what you said about our houses.
Hey, do me a favor before we go to Bernie. Pull out Kilian. I know you got a Kilian over there, so pull it out. So when I get through with Bernie, I'm gonna come back to you, and I want you to give me on what that house is about. B-Man, come on with it now.
Oh, okay. What's going on? I have 3 houses I'm gonna cover. One house is a house that I think that most people who are getting into niche is a real easy house to get into, and that's Parfum de Marley. They're well known. It's a well-respected house, and I suggest any new frag head that's trying to go from designer into niche, that's a good house to get into. They have a good reputation. They have good quality. The thing about the presentation, they're known for their heavy bottles, and they're known to have the horses on the front. Each one of the fragrances that they made is supposed to be named after a racehorse or a horse that did something significant. And if you looked at one of the episodes we had before, Pegasus, the bottle that I showed was the very first niche that I had. This particular one is Carlisle. You have Lady, you have sadly, each one of their fragrances is identified towards a horse. As far as the box presentation, there's a box just like Creed, not a whole lot to it, but they put a lot of their detail. It's the heaviness of the bottles, the heaviness of the caps. As far as their performance, their winter and fall fragrances are very good, 6 to 8 hours. When you get into Setley, Greenlee, and Galloway, those are more your summer, spring fragrances. You probably can get like 4 hours with it. And that's one of the things that a lot of people complained about, is that with Parfum de Marley, when it got to the area of their summer and spring fragrances, the thing that they didn't like, that a lot of complaints is the performance doesn't last as long. But in my mind, when it's summer and spring, you don't want something that's lasting, that's that strong because of the temperature and the climate, especially the area that I'm in. But I always suggest that if you want to kind of just dip your toes, you can go to discounters and you can get these for a decent price. Carlisle is one of the main fragrances in the line. Is more of a mature fragrance. They also have Hobdon, which is a Middle East. What they have a tendency to do is they have their DNA that's across the board in all of their fragrances. They're unisex, but they also have a female line. One of the things I noticed that with all of them, they have the distinct DNA except for the summer and spring fragrances. The one that most people are known that's popular is Leighton Exclusive, and Pegasus Exclusive. But Carlisle is usually considered one of the best ones they have in that line. Another one that's very popular is on another episode, the Tobacco Honey, which was heard. Very, very, very good fragrance. The ones that has the more popular presentation will be Heard and Pegasus. But as far as the performance, like I told you, the fall and winter, you can get like 6 to 8 hours with their summer to spring. You get 4 to 6. Quality, I think, is a very quality house. It's debatable when it's compared to other companies, but for the money that you pay, the presentation, and the quality, it's pretty good. Another one that's very popular that they recently introduced is Hautane. And Hautane was one of Harrod's exclusives. After it did its run over there, what happened is Parfum de Marley rolled out that push for the Hautane line, and that's a very, very good scent. The next one I'm gonna get into is everyone knows that I'm crazy about the Middle East.
It's just a matter of time, man.
No, just waiting on it. I knew it was coming.
The man, G-Man called me the Sheik, and a very respectable house. If you want to get into the Middle East, is Arabian Oud. Um, One of their flagship fragrances that won a lot of awards is Tartil Silver. They have a wide range of fragrances. One of the things that I want people, I'm talking to the newer people. Whenever you think Middle Eastern, you would think that it's heavy incense, very, very strong, very pungent. You don't get that with the Arabian Oud line, and especially the Middle Eastern scents. Some of the ones very popular that we like a lot is the Arabian Night Silver, which is more mass appealing, more leaning more towards the blue. Tartil Silver, a very heavy vanilla fragrance. You have Still, which is discontinued. It has pink pepper and a few other fruits, real fruity scent. The SE, I think, went into another direction, and that's very good. They have a wide range of scents. You can be in there all day going through all of the different fragrances. They got something for everybody from young all the way to old. They have stuff for men as well as females, and they're truly unisex, except for a handful of them. One of the other ones that's very popular is Rosewood, which I haven't gotten yet. It's like we can sit here for almost 2 hours talking about all of the offerings that Arabian Oud has. But one of the things that stand out about them is they have a very good presentation. Their boxes are really good. They put a lot of detail into their presentation. The bottles have a nice size, decent design. As far as the quality, top quality. As far as the performance, you get 6 to 8 hours out of any of the ones that you wear. And I really enjoy that house. Now, the next house that I went to, one of the things about Arabian Oud, you can get it in the U.S. as well as across seas. The next one I'm about to show you, you cannot get it in the U.S., and that's the House of Tea. Tea put a lot of emphasis in their presentation in their bottles and how they design them. The thing about their juice is straight to the point. You don't get the 3 levels where you have the opening, the mid, and the dry down. Whatever they say is in it. One of the best people who can explain is Mondale. They may give you 12 different notes, but when they blend it together, it's really hard to pick those notes out. And every fragrance that I had, except for maybe one, have been phenomenal. They put a lot of emphasis and a lot of time in how they formulate. Performance is off the chain. I haven't had one that didn't last no less than 8 hours. They're very versatile. You can wear them in the winter, summer, spring, and fall. They have a little bit of everything for everybody. And one of the things I really like about Tea, they're truly unisex. They're one of the houses that you can see a female wearing wide just as well as a man. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. You can wear the fragrance in pretty much in any kind of setting. A lot of the Wade stuff that I wore out into events. I wore some to work. I wore them to church. Very, very versatile. Very good presentation. Very good quality. And if you get an opportunity to get hold of a seller, get your nose on some of the offers they have in the house. I have some stuff coming in soon that I'm very excited about. And one is I think it's what do you call it, Dar? Dre, is it Dar or
Wow.
No,
Wow. That is supposed to be pretty
honestly, I don't know.
Dar, yes, it's really good and it's supposed to push one of our favorites in the Frag Illuminati. Wow. So
We waiting on your
I would say we'll see what happens here.
and people, just like I'm saying, I know a lot of people have a certain feeling about Middle Eastern. Don't be scared of the Middle East, their formulations, and the way that they make their fragrances. They put a lot of time and effort in it. And when you have that fragrance, it's something about wearing something that you know no one in the area has and no one around you have. And it kind of gives that appeal. That's what makes it sit a little bit higher in my collection, and the reason why I love them so much. But those are the three houses I wanted to cover.
Let me ask you a question, Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of common, supposedly Middle Eastern fragrances on the market that are marketed in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they're very inexpensive. I mean, very inexpensive. And they'll get, people will buy those thinking, I've got a Middle East fragrance, and they'll judge their opinions based upon those, not understanding that what you have in your collection is different from what they have. So can you kind of go into detail about the differences between what's made for America versus what's made for the Middle East?
The problem with this is what it is. The thing is I don't, for legal ramifications, I got to be very careful.
Yeah.
It's a certain area to have control over the accords and have control over whatever notes and stuff that can be used. So with the Middle East, they're limited in the type of resources that they have. So they generate a lot of the different notes and fragrance, the different notes that they have over there. So when they do their formulations, it's kind of like Dre had the best example. If they're saying it's rose or whatever, that's what you can get all the way through. Like when he said the blueberry and vanilla, that's what you're going to get all the way through. But they put a special emphasis on it to kind of distance themselves from the West, more so showing why their fragrances are what they are. The thing that you get with the ones is over here, you're not getting the same type of quality ingredients. That's the reason why it's so cheap. They kind of put it together a certain kind of way. They throw a little design on it and say, hey, this is a Middle Eastern scent. No, it's not. It's made it's made somewhere over there where no one from the Middle East had anything to do with it. Just like with Parfum de Marley, they have Hobdown. That they have a particular line in their area dedicating what they would feel a Middle Eastern scent would be. And that's them paying homage to them. With a lot of the fragrances that people are buying, and if you get Mondale will get on his soapbox and he'll lose it when he talk about these companies that's putting out these Middle Eastern fragrances. In a way, it's kind of like a disrespect to them, is that because they really put a lot of time and effort in every fragrance that they make. And when they see that someone throws something out there with cheap fragrances, the formulation is trash, and the presentation is not where it needs to be, no offense to people who wear it, it kind of rubs them a certain way. You really need to try to get your nose on a Middle Eastern fragrance to truly appreciate the hard work and effort they put in when they're doing these formulations. It really out in your collection.
Yeah, I think the thing is, and I'm speaking from my own experience. If you just don't know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I think that's what it is. You know, they'll sell you in America, hey, get this Middle Eastern house. You don't know that this not what it is. Because I wouldn't have known. I mean, if we wouldn't have run across our man over on the other side of the pond, we wouldn't have known what Middle Eastern, true Middle Eastern fragrance was about.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had some until I got told that mine was like a Dollar Tree level fragrance.
Entry
I have a best friend.
level.
I had a best friend, and he was like, "Man, I got this and I got that," and he was swapping down, Middle Eastern this and just that and the third. And I just didn't say anything. Man, I went upstairs and grabbed one of them bottles. He said, "Good God," I said, "That's Middle East." And he was like, "Well, I gotta get my hands on that." I said, "This was imported, from across seas." But you can try the Arabian Oud. He was totally shocked and how it varied from what he had and he's swapping down. That was Middle East, and how those fragrances that actually came from the Middle Eastern houses, it was a complete distinct difference. He pretty much took his stuff and just kind of threw it away. And now he's starting to buy different things from Arabian Oud and stuff like that, building his collection. Once they smell it, it just completely surprised them. And then, if like you said, if you don't know, you just don't know. He carried on for like an hour and a half about it until I went upstairs and got a bottle.
Man, a few words. Dr. Dre, I asked you to bring that Kilian out because Eric had talked about the house that had boozy fragrances. Explain what Kilians are.
Oh, they are boozy. I got well, not all, but we'll take this one for example. Now they do come in these nice coffrets. I want to say most of, not all of them, besides the refills, usually come in something similar to this.
No,
there may be a few that don't.
No,
like the Angel Shares.
Which one is that one? Because Straight to Heaven Extreme didn't come in that.
No, you have to pay extra for those.
I think. Oh, okay. So they do actually come in the regular just bottle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, okay. So this is apple brandy.
Okay.
This particular one is. I think this particular one in this bottle is discontinued, but it comes in this nice little coffret, and this is I don't know. I have experience with a couple of them, not all, but I can tell you for sure what this is what this is. This smells like apple brandy. For the ones that know about alcohol, brandy is a alcohol, and this smells exactly like that. And it does come in this nice kind of basic coffret, I guess you could say.
Does that have a key to it?
Yeah, they all the coffrets, as far as I know, have a key.
Okay. No, those are extra, Dre. You have to pay extra for those.
I had no idea. All the ones I've gotten have come in something similar, like this Imperial Tea. This is pretty much similar to that one. The inside is different. This one just so happens to be red and comes with this paper and all that stuff. That's Imperial Tea. And then my favorite one, because I'm extra, put that down, is when you really get extra. Black Phantom comes with the skull head on it.
I didn't get that one. I got the bottle.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah. What else when you think about the liqueurs line, when you talk about
it's rough because like I said, these are the only three I've tried, so I can't really speak too much to all the rest of them and how they perform. I can only speak to these, and I know like Black Phantom was a very good chocolatey coffee scent. Yeah, so this is real good. And I guess whatever they claim it to be is what it is, because even with Imperial Tea, and I think I told you guys this on another episode, it smells exactly like tea.
Yeah. Did you know that the owners, the company that owns Kilian also owns Hennessy?
Right.
Yeah, I think I found that out earlier. Well, no, probably like mid last year. And as a matter of fact, this one just so happens to be signed by Hennessy himself. I'm lying. It's signed by Kilian. I
Check
mean, if Kilian is Hennessy, then you know it is what it is. Whoever Kilian is, he signed this, or he or she signed this. I bought it that way, so I don't know nothing. But I am very pleased with them. Apple Brandy has lasted me way longer than it should have, because walking around smelling like alcohol is crazy.
Purge.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That's right.
Not
I
happening.
want to try that one, Dre, because I got apple brandy on the rocks, and I just want to compare them.
I'm about to say I'm gonna have to
It's
I'm
different.
gonna have to think about getting you a decant.
How much different is it? Have you tried both of them, Leonard?
I've tried them in the store. They are different.
They're different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're different.
I was about to say I haven't tried on the rocks yet because I know the ones like Angel Share. I think all
the
I don't know what
liqueurs.
that's
That's
what
what
those
that line is called, the
are.
liqueurs.
Okay, yeah, all those come in different style bottle, and I know they have the the women's line. What is that? Whatever they call, like Princess. I guess the Princess line or whatever that is.
Yeah.
They come in slightly different bottles too.
And actually, all of those are the heavy, man. Even when Angel Share the summer months, I think that Kilian normally wears better in the winter months in the cooler climates.
Yeah.
Than the summer months. I can't even straight to heaven. I can't do that summer.
They recently just came out with a fragrance that was supposed to be marketed toward the summer, and I think it's the only one that they got that's marketed as a summer scent, and it's called
Oh no. They got another one.
Yeah, another one. Okay.
Yeah, they got another one called Miami. Came out a couple years back.
Okay.
I haven't tried it. I just heard that one from Big Beer Business. So I heard it was cool, but it wasn't really overly special or anything like that.
Did you say that's a fragrance that you have to try first instead of
depending on what it is. If you, like I said, for the apple brandy, if you like alcohol and you like to smell like alcohol, then that's exactly what you're gonna get. So you wouldn't have to necessarily try it first. Black Phantom, I think I would recommend to anybody. I know if you're a fan of gourmand scents, then you would probably be a fan of Black Phantom. Imperial Tea, on the other hand, you should try that first. That would not be everybody's cup of tea, no pun intended.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to you, Rock. Out of the fragrance houses you discussed, what would be some of the misnomers about the houses that you spoke of?
What was that word?
A misnomer?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Who? It's kind of like with the creeds, people believe that they should be something.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, shoot.
Man, Rock gone, bro. Where Rock at?
I'm right here. But,
he can't figure one out.
I'm trying to think because everything, I mean, because there's truth to pretty much anything that anybody could say. Because, I mean, a lot of people will probably say that Amouage is a mature scent. I mean, it's a house for mature noses or mature men. So most people that will wear that they're not clubbing scents or this, that, and the other. So those rumors are true. I don't as far as Xeroff is concerned, I haven't heard any negative feedback on Xeroff or anything, or no one has come back to say, well, Xeroff doesn't last long, or
so they're true to pretty much the brands you talked about are true
to form, true to rumors. Like with Amouage, the thing is, folks, I mean, it's all relative to what you might feel as an old man scent, but most people will say that they're old man scents, just like with Frederick Malle. everyone would say Frederick Malle make old men, old lady scents, right? And so it just depends on what your interpretation of that is. And the same would go with Argos and Triumph of Bacchus, because those are relatively new fragrance houses. And so as far as rumors or bad publicity, or to say that they don't last long, they don't have those. They don't have that stigma as far as what people say about Creed or what people say about Joe Malone. Because for the most part, especially with Xeroff, except for the one that Dre mentioned earlier, they're mass appealing scents. So and which is not the case with all Unique A luxuries, because I wouldn't consider Coute a mass appealing scent. But if you want to state that the fact that they last so long to be a negative adjective to describe them, I wouldn't consider it that way, because when you think about it in Fragcom, everybody's talking about performance, and that's one thing that Unique A luxury fragrances is going to give you is performance.
What what would you say performance is subjective?
It is. It's very subjective, and it depends on especially if you're talking date night, how important is a beast mode fragrance, right? How long do you need? I mean, if
Go ahead, say it. Say it.
right,
You know you want to say it.
if you on a date longer than 4 hours and you still need to talk about your fragrance, and then something else is wrong with your game, right? So
And you
right,
should be taking a shower at some point.
right, and so yeah, so in that actions in that arena, or in that realm, performance may not be that important, long as the fragrance smells good. And then if you're on a date, you actually want the lady to become closer to you. If she can smell your fragrance for 10 feet away, what need does she have to draw closer to you? Um so with that, it just depends. Like if you at a event or you're outside at a concert, yeah, you might want folks to smell you over in the next row. That just depends on what what's going on. Performance might be important to you at that point.
I'm glad you're saying that, because I just had a discussion with three other guys about that, and they're like, "Oh, well, the performance, this, that, and the third. Everything is subjective and situational." Like you're saying, if you on a date night and you knocked it out the park, I don't know, be knocking her ass across the room and burning her nostrils and stuff like that. That's the beauty of fragrances. Each scent represents certain stuff. And it's good, like if you wear like a hair, right? It gives you a decent scent bubble, but what that's intended for, I'm bunned up and we Netflixing and chill. But just like I said, if we going out, we have our meet and greet soon. Yeah, you want something that's going to push a little bit because you're outside. And being, I think people need to be more aware. And the thing is, they label a fragrance bad, like they would say Creed, because it doesn't that and the third. Each fragrance is designed to do a specific thing. That's the purpose of you having a collection. And that's the thing that makes it so wonderful. Like when you was talking about Amouage and Xeroff, and what Dre was talking about, if you want apple and brandy, damn it, that's what you're going to get. And what is talking about, that's the beauty of fragrances. So just because something don't last a long period of time, use it for the appropriate situation. You don't
use it for the appropriate situations.
Yeah, you don't want no beast mode when you sitting up in church and the thing pushing all the way up to the choir.
Right.
And then another thing is, you don't need a fragrance that lasts 22, 28 hours, because you should be taking a bath.
Right.
So if you still smell like that after that long, you are doing something wrong. So take a bath.
Yeah.
Take a bath, guys.
Out the park with that. And people, I mean, we're not beating nobody down, but I mean, they arguing me down. I'm like, why would you want that though? Everything is for different situations. You know what I mean?
Let me say this, Bernie. I can answer that question.
Huh?
I can answer that question. Some people would spend extra money that they're not accustomed to spending to buy a fragrance, and as a result, this $400 bottle of fragrance they're not accustomed to buying should be performing better than a $100 bottle that they were accustomed to buying. So they think it should be getting 3 times as much out of that fragrance, and when it doesn't, they're disappointed.
I don't remember seeing that no disclaimer. I don't remember seeing that disclaimer.
I think
I agree with you 100%, but I don't see that as on a disclaimer. If that's what you want, then you get that. The reason that you're spending that extra money is because of the creativity, the originality, the ingredients, the presentation. They put in all of this stuff, and it's kind of like if we're looking at art. This is my Mona Lisa. This is my masterpiece, and this is what it is. Don't sit here and say because I spent $600, oh, it don't last long. The reason that you bought is because of the name, the quality, the ingredients, and everything went into it to make that masterpiece. If that's what you want, then you do the other stuff. When I'm paying $400-something, I want quality. If it lasts hours, I'm good. If it lasts 8 hours, it's good. That's why we test it in the house before we go out in the streets and know when it's appropriate for whatever situation. And with the guys that this panel is saying, they give you some good information. So when you out there shopping, you know exactly what to get and understand the difference in why certain stuff should last a certain period and the reason why certain stuff shouldn't. That don't mean the company is bad. It just means that's what it's supposed to do.
And Fragcom is the only community that puts these false labels on everything. Because you can go out and buy a Ferrari, okay, fine. It's gonna run, it probably will do every bit of 200 miles an hour, right? This, that, and the other. But you go out and get this Bentley was made for do something completely different. You understand what I'm saying? And you didn't probably spend twice as much money, right? And so, but with Fragcom, it's like, okay, if I spend this much money, it's supposed to do this. But at the same time, I don't have to go get the real thing. I can go get a clone, and it's going to perform. It's better because it performs. It performs longer, which was another show that we did.
Yeah.
But Fragcom is the only one that put these phony rules on particular fragrances.
Yeah. Wow.
But let me say that. But with fragrances, are there any rules?
No, you enjoy them the way you want to enjoy them.
I think that's where the confusion comes in, is that they're not understanding what you may like, what you may like, what you may like can be completely different from what I like.
Well,
you're not wrong for what you like. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'm not wrong because this is what I like. I can't bash you. You shouldn't bash me. A, B, C, or D. But I think that people don't realize like Dre was saying on the other show, people need to respect the lane that they're in and focus on driving the car in the lane that they're driving in instead of worrying about what the other driver's doing in his lane.
Exactly, because the connotation is that you don't need to, but there's nothing wrong if you want to, and that's in anything. You don't need to, because the first thing that anybody that stays in a specific lane that says, well, I don't need to spend $300 to to smell good. I don't need to either, but I want to, and I can. Right. So, right.
That's not like Dre there. I want to.
Right.
That's what it is at the end of the day. So that's what it is at the end of the day. You just do what you want.
Right. It's what you want. And I had another point, but it kind of slipped my mind. But
let me help you out. For people that think that this is not a good fragrance, it doesn't take you 2 bottles to figure that out.
Oh, look how Creed.
Yeah. Now, for people that, for people, what you wear to the Washington,
he broke out the Savage.
This has awesome presentation. This is built to last. This has been world renowned as the greatest fragrance in the frag community.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a bottle, your collection is not complete.
I got
There's so
incomplete,
many,
man.
there's so
You don't
many
own a
things I
bottle
can
of
say.
Silliage?
Huh?
I had to remember. I had to. I gave
Got
some.
rid
He enjoying it?
of the
Yeah,
elixir, got rid of it.
I couldn't even buy my son a bottle of Sauvage. I was trying when I was looking for a bottle for him for Christmas. I passed the Sauvage counter, and I was sitting there listening to the lady talk to, and the and Macy's was crowded, and I was sitting there listening to the lady talk. The lady she was trying to talk the lady out of buying Sauvage, but the lady she like, oh my son, he want that. That's what he want. That's what he want.
Was it
And
the,
I wanted to butt in and say, no, I don't get that, but that
Was
may
it
be a journey.
was it the elixir? Was it the elixir?
No, it was the EDP.
Mm-hmm. That was the first bottle I ever bought my son. Was that? Was
Different strokes, man. I mean, depends on the level
Right.
you're. Because
But-
I was telling you, I never owned the EDP, EDT, none of that. But I bought the elixir when it first hit, and then when everybody started to get it, then I just kind of like I do with the Venice. I don't wear it.
Anybody 30 can't stand the elixir, and I guess because it has that 80-ish type feel because that heavy musk. But the younger people, you can see it all up and down the boards. They can't stand the elixir, and the elixir is pretty damn good. I was really shocked when I got it.
Yeah, it me is
Bernie,
good.
let me ask you a question.
It was good, baby. It was good.
Okay, when you smelled the bottle of Aventus that you got, is that your first bottle of Aventus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you know which batch you have?
This is the new one. It's the newest
It's
one.
new? Okay, do you get any other smoke or any other burps in there?
No, the only
It's
smoke I got is the decant that a Creed guy gave me, and I saw a cassette. I was like, damn. So I don't get the smoke with mine. I have the latest version. I got it like 2 years.
Right, exactly. And I don't got the smoke with mine either.
Yeah. Bernie,
Huh?
you don't have this version. They just came out with another version in 2021.
I think I have mine in 20.
Yeah, you got the one before that. They just came out with another one.
Does that one have the smoke in it? The one
new
you're talking about?
I don't think none of them got no smoke in it.
Okay. So when I first smelled the Ventus, I mean the smoke was so it felt like I was on a charcoal grill. I mean the smoke was that strong, and I think that's the Aventus that everybody is in love with. The one that has that little smoke, that little charcoal smoke to it, and mine doesn't have it, and so in mine, huh?
Oh shit,
nah. So yeah, but
we got
and that, and then the fact that every you know it's the target scent for everybody, intermediates target for anybody that's in fragcon. I mean that starts to get fragrance. That's the one they gravitate to. So it's nothing personal about Aventus.
Oh
so
shit.
It's just the
get him, Lenny, get him.
Right, it's nothing personal about Aventus. It's just not the one that it used to be. Does yours have smoke in it, Lenny? Yours have smoke in it, Lenny?
Look at Creed. Yeah, man, it's all good, bro. I get the smoke, but I know the older version that I got in the decant, it was considerable dirt. Like, wow, I see why that one was more expensive. I don't know. Is the one Anton sold, did that have smoke? Remember, he had a Ventus back.
He had an 18.
20. No. Is it 18 or 16?
Well, the
16
one he
probably
sold
got the smoke.
18.
He had 18.
Well, Event has been out since 2010, right? 2012.
Right. I thought it was 2012, but
2012.
Okay.
So it's been reformulated a whole bunch of times, man.
But Creed won't tell you that.
Yeah, they will.
But because you go, I mean, I go to Neiman Marcus, and they were like, well, this don't smell like Creed of old, and then like they'll try to argue you down, like, yeah, it hasn't been reformulated. I'm like, no, this ain't Creed the way we know. This,
You talking about Neiman Marcus? They don't know nothing anyway.
right?
Oh,
Man,
sorry, guys.
I went there and asked them to spell a new Adventus. You know what they showed me? Adventus cologne.
Good God Almighty!
Because you said the new Aventus. That's why.
New Adventus with the metal caps. They said this is a new Adventus right here. I said that's not even Adventus. That's Adventus cologne. Well, that's the newest one they make. I said, okay, let me go on out of here because you don't even know. You don't want to try it. I said, no, I know what this smells like.
They don't.
So, well, hey guys, we're over our time. Go around the room. Eggos, Rock, Bernie. Well, Eggos, Bernie, and Rock, we close us out, man.
We out of here. Once again, you already know. Follow us next time. We will be right back.
No doubt. Appreciate everyone tuning in. These are some great episodes. I had a great time. I hope you did. Thank you for taking time out and supporting the Frag Illuminati. Be blessed and see you next week.
Same thing the fella said. Same thing that the fella said. I echo it. Rock, we're gonna let you take us out of here like you normally do every week. D-Man, I want you to shut it down like you do every week.
Well, if this is type of content that you guys enjoy, please like, follow, and subscribe, and share us out to people that you feel like that will enjoy this type of information, or just find us like some cool guys to hang out with. Cool guys to hang out with. Right. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on
you can't
follow us below. And we the Illuminati, y'all.
I feel like,
Hey, Rock. Oh, seriously.